going to record on time this week because it is, well, for you, it is 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock Friday.
For me, it is 6, a little bit after 6 o'clock on Friday. And we got some exciting things. Well, I think we have a couple of exciting things for the show this week, right? One
We've got
is,
a few. Yeah.
One is, we got our money, we got paid, and we went out and we bought some bourbon.
Right? We did buy some bourbon. We did, and you know what? Let me give you trivia for you. Do you know it is Friday at 4 o'clock, and I'm opening up a new bottle of bourbon? Do you know what those equal? Like, it's a math problem. Friday, 4 o'clock, and bourbon equals, in my world,
for bourbon. I don't know.
Asleep by 8.
Oh.
In bed and asleep by 8 o'clock.
There you go. An early start is an early finish, right?
Early start is early finish. Exactly. Yep.
So we got paid by YouTube.
Yep. Thank you, YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. Well, actually, thanks viewers, right?
Thanks viewers. Thanks
subscribers. Yep. Thanks viewers.
Yep.
And and we are cracking open our shared bottle, which is. Are we gonna do this at the same time?
Now. Yep. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Reveal.
They gotta look at yours because mine's backwards.
Yours is backwards. We got a bottle of Mitchers, small batch. Now, listen, I will say this was a lot of fun. We actually went to our respective liquor stores on the phone together and then shared video. We played a little game. We played a little. So Master would throw out and say, "Do you have this?" And I would say, "Go fish," because I couldn't find it. And he would say, "Do you have this bottle?" And I would say, "Go fish." We don't find it. We go back and forth until we finally found one that we both had.
It was very ironic though, because the very first one I mentioned was Mitchers.
And yes. I couldn't find it anywhere.
And you couldn't find it. And then finally, after like 5 rounds, we're like, "Oh my god, this is going to take forever." You just turn on your video, you walk down the aisle, and I said, "Wait a minute, you have Mitchers, it's right there." And you're like, "Oh."
So the good news is we actually checked out at the same time, and we compared our price. There is exactly the same price in Colorado and in your state store in Pennsylvania. So that's good to know.
At least I didn't feel like I was getting ripped off. Yeah.
Exactly. And so we are popping for the first time the bottle.
Yep.
And we are pouring.
I cheated. I started drinking.
You started drinking already. Now
I'm sitting here going, uh-oh.
I feel cheated. I did a little research on Mitchers. They look like a pretty big distillery, actually, but they've got like 4 different. They got whiskey and bourbon and a few other things.
Someone's gonna like comment in the show, and they're like, "Oh my god, that stuff is like as common as Jim Beam."
Probably, yeah, exactly. But we had it in both locations, and we didn't have to ship a bottle across this country.
Yeah. So it was the easy out. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with it.
I may power this one as we record our show, and I may be on the couch in an hour. We'll see.
You're gonna be on the couch by the end of the show.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, it's good going down. It's not hard going down at all. That could also be because I had a crappy day today, so maybe it's good.
Anything's gonna go down.
Anything is gonna be good. Yeah, good flavor. I like it. Like this one a lot.
I got the dog again. Yeah.
You have your food at the door again?
No, we've got girls, kids, people in the house, so the dog.
I was thinking about this after last week's show that you should have actually invited the food delivery guy in and joined us. He should have sat next to you on the show. Could have hung out and talked for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you, everybody. We're in our,
thank you very much.
Joint bourbon. Thank you very much, and we will continue to do this practice. So it may be 6 more months before we can buy another bottle.
I don't think it's going to be as long. Honestly, things ramped up a little bit. So when we were starting, we were only making like $20-something a month. I think we're well into the 40s now. So I think we'll be able to buy. I think we said we declared we officially made it when we can buy a bottle of bourbon a month, each of us. We're not near that. We're not near that, but I think it'll be like every 2.5 months at this point. So that's pretty cool.
My wife will be thrilled because all we need in my house is
Is more
another bottle of bourbon a month. Exactly.
Hey, at least you can't complain that it's you're not spending money on it, right? If we're doing it this
Correct.
way.
I am gonna have to take a picture. I think I've done this before, but I've added like 8 bottles of bourbon. I'm gonna have to put a picture of all the bourbon bottles up and take a picture of that. So
Yeah.
um golf story. Do
Yeah.
you have any? You didn't. I don't think you played this week. You were pretty
No,
busy with.
well, I didn't really play. I haven't played any golf since the guys trip because one, I hurt my wrist, and I've been
Yep. Yep.
taking it easy on that. And the weather here has been absolutely horrible. It's been raining a lot.
Yeah.
I had a leaky roof. That's a whole other. That's not a golf story, but that's a nightmare. So what
um.
did you have?
Well, our weather has been spectacular. 75, beautiful afternoons, little breeze. I have not gotten out this week because I had 2 rounds that I could have gotten out with, but I just work got in the way of this week. I do have rounds planned. I have a tomorrow. I'm getting out with some buddies tomorrow afternoon. I'm excited for that. And then I have a round on a Tuesday. Some guys want me to build one of their a course for them for their simulator for free. Just I build this stuff for free for them if I like the course, and so they've asked me to go play the course with them. They're gonna take me out and go
So
play
you get a
that
free?
on
Do you at least
Tuesday.
get a free round out of it?
I got a free round on it,
Hey,
yeah. So I get a free round on it, and they were like, "Hey, if you like it, build it. If not, no big deal." So we'll see. They're not.
yeah,
It's not like I don't want to take anything away from any of the Patreon guys, but they're not going to go pay a Patreon guy to build it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah,
I would say go call one of these 4 or 5 guys or reach out to
yeah,
them and they'll build it
yeah,
for you. But they're not going to pay for it.
yeah, yeah.
And then I have another round on Thursday afternoon with some more buddies playing. So I have 3 rounds in the next week to play. I did have a question though to ask you and everybody else because we all do a lot of sim golf. Um, do you guys find, and this is for my own knowledge because it's something I'm struggling with. Do you find that you hit the ball better outside versus inside? And what I'm going to talk about specifically is like practicing at the range, not playing 18 holes on the sim, but practicing.
Oh God, I don't think I've ever practiced outside, honestly. My first of all, my home course doesn't have a range. So I
Oh,
usually
okay.
I usually hit in the sim. If I'm gonna go play at my home course, which is literally 6 minutes away, I hit in my sim first and then go play.
And
And
go play.
then
Yeah.
and then any place else I go to, I only warm up with like 25, 30 balls. And so I don't know.
Yeah, I think because for me, I think what I've been finding is I've been very frustrated lately practicing in the sim, and I'm trying to diagnose why. Like I'm just not hitting the ball very well practicing. But I feel like I think I'm much faster in the range. I feel like I take more time sorry, I'm faster than sim. When I'm at
Yeah.
the range, I feel like I take a lot more time aiming up each shot and getting behind the ball and all my normal golf routine. And I feel like in the sim, because it's all right there, that I find myself doing a lot more rapid fire, and I probably am a lot faster in everything, including my swing tempo. That may be causing. I mean, yesterday I practiced last night and I didn't hit the ball well at all, and I went out today to the actual range where there's a small bucket of balls, like what 30 balls or something like that, and I flushed 80% of them. It was great. So I'm trying to figure out why my practice sessions in the sim are not good, but my practice sessions outside are. And I guess is his tempo, but I don't know. I'm just curious if anybody else has any thoughts on that. I'm curious what you feel.
Yeah. Sounds like something you should post on Facebook for all the experts to comment.
I think so. It's a perfect comment for Facebook. Yep, GSPro users. Actually, I'll just post it in the Golf Simulator forum high end because it has
Yes.
nothing to do with building golf
Yes.
simulators.
Exactly.
All right, we have some courses.
Yeah, we do. So we had 6 this week, and we're calling this week, I think, a little bit of a misfit week.
Okay,
Because
it's an interesting week for sure of releases. Yeah.
yeah, because we had well, one of the I was if you call it a normal course, one of them was Glenwood Country Club
Yep.
by the great Bangini.
Yep. Who
Um,
I believe the great Genie just got married.
oh yeah, yeah. Well, no, that was his
He
son, wasn't it?
That was his son getting married. That's right. It was his son
Yeah.
getting married. Correct.
Yes.
He's right. Yeah. So congratulations, Dad. Congratulations, Bangini. That's awesome that your son got married. That's right. That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah. So
And
congratulations.
Mrs. Bangini, I'm sorry, he did not marry somebody else.
I think it's great. Well, there's some things later on about community and posts of the week, but
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
really cool how I think the designer community is still small. I think
yeah.
the GSPro community has exploded.
I
Um, and
agree.
that's making some frictions there. But anyway, but yeah, so Glenwood Country Club, Glenwood is that's Arkansas, right?
Arkansas.
Yeah. So this was a Parkland course.
Yep.
He actually made custom trees on there, which look really good. We didn't, well, let's spoil the surprise. We didn't give this one an MPAL. All right.
Of
And
course, no. Fun course.
it was a fun course. It's a pretty course. But unfortunately, we didn't give him an MPAL. I honestly, I thought there were a couple things in there with the trees that weren't quite right. They were a little dark. I think
Yeah.
we both separately, we both agreed on that.
Yeah,
Um,
I played this one. We played this one as a four-man scramble, all 18 holes, me and Pac-Man and Justin and Stinger played with us on that one. Which that was a ton of fun. So
yeah,
fun course, but yeah, we found some challenges with the trees. The trunks are real dark, the leaves are real dark. There was some water floating off the mesh, some things like that. That again, not that it's not a good course and good playable, but on the
yeah,
MPOWs, we're looking like the best of the course, the highest
yes.
end courses that we could find. Yep.
And then we have one of the Misfits this week, which is love the name, Mulligans Island Putt
Mulligans
Putt,
Island.
the
Yep.
the cave course, which leads me to believe there's going to be more of these. So maybe we'll have Mulligans Island Putt Putt, the island course. I don't.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
you'll have
agree. I like. You know what? You're right. I love that. I didn't even pick up on the naming convention. Mulligan's Island Cave Course. Yeah, he could have three, or he could
he
have.
could
I
start
think
a
it's great.
theme. Maybe
Yeah,
Jay Pruitt's going to be our new Putt Putt man,
he
right?
might be our pop up man. Yep.
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 Then we have Municipal Golf Course, and I love this name. This is Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada. Now, I looked at
Yep.
the history. He in the description. This course closed, so this is a little bit near and dear to my heart because one of the reasons that I started sim building was because I wanted to design two courses in my area that were closed. That's one,
Closed. Yep.
and I
Hershey,
didn't.
right?
No, well, Hershey Links
Hershey Links. Yep.
and Hershey Parkview.
Got it.
So
Okay.
two courses. That's one of the main reasons and then I had intended to do those and be done, but here I am. Um, but was another one that closed. Now I can't remember the date. I want to say it was 2015 that this closed. But we played this one today. I had to crack up because it just looks like your typical municipal golf course, just
Yep.
burn out, rock
Yep.
hard.
Yep.
You can't tell where the fairway ends and the rough begins.
Like there was a lot of love for me for the course. One for the history, I love
Yeah,
that, and then one because we have all played those 15, $18, $20 walking only 9-hole muni courses that
yeah,
the greens are green and everything else is burned up. We've all played them
yeah.
before, and it was great. I enjoyed it.
Now this was also enjoyable for you and I because we were playing like shit today and it was wide open.
Correct. It was wide open. I could spray the driver everywhere. It was great.
Then I was like, and that was after playing, and then just before that we had played. You're gonna have to say this one because you know me and these Hawaiian names. The come on out.
Waikoloa. It's the
Okay.
Waikoloa Beach Course, yes. And by the
Yes.
way, I think Amaze had like 16 courses released this week. Like they just a bunch of them came out. It's the
And
Waikoloa course, yeah.
yeah, anything in Hawaii, I just call it. Come on, I want to lick you. You know. So,
It's were you were you a member of the I Felt a Thigh fraternity when you were in school?
yes. So totally. That was like so we played that and that was a tight course and then we went to the municipal and it was like a breath of fresh air. It's like, oh my gosh, there's so much room now because
Yeah.
this one by Amachi this week was just it was tight. Yeah, it made me nervous.
Yeah, and the Waikoloa course is about 5 miles further down the coast from the Kahanaiki course that I did. So there's a
Yeah,
lot of similarities between the two, with lots of lava rocks and palm trees and ocean views and things like that. So yeah, it's a cool. I played that course. We stayed. Funny side note, I mentioned this to you earlier. The Waikoloa Hotel, which this course is part of, it's a Hilton. I think it's a Hilton. Big giant, one of those big giant huge hotels, has a floating river through the center of the room and stuff. It is not what I would necessarily call a couples hotel. It is more of a family oriented hotel. Like You walk out and they put you on a little boat and they float you through their own complex to get to,
Yeah.
my wife and I chose to go there for our honeymoon.
Oops.
Not the most romantic place to hang out on your honeymoon. Yeah, all we heard for our honeymoon was kids screaming. The next day, we got in the rental car, put the top down, drove north to Hapuna Beach Prince, where there's the Hapuna Prince, the Hapuna Beach Prince, and we moved hotels that night, and we
Oh
stayed
no.
there
Oh,
for
you
like a
moved
week.
hotels then?
Oh yeah, we literally I checked out the next day. The Waikolo was like, "You're here for another 2 weeks." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm out. Sorry."
Well, good move. Good move.
She was happy.
And then we have an addition here, which is one of our other, somewhat of a misfit, which is Flushing Meadows Pitch and Putt in
Yep.
Queens, New York, by Jay Rockaway.
Yep.
So second course, the
Second. Yep.
I call him the texture guy because he really understands how to make things look good as far as texture and depth. So we'll talk about that one a little bit more.
Jay, Jay, if you want to throw a couple videos in on optimizing textures and stuff, let me. I'd love to like that's an area I'd love to see how you do it because it looks great.
And just all we'll talk about this course all about efficiency because he put so much detail. I don't know how he
Yeah.
did it quickly like that.
Yep.
And then you had a course
I
out this
did.
week, which
I did.
was I you had told me how and why you did this course, and frankly, when I looked at it, it brought a tear to my eye. Honestly, it did because I have three daughters. So go ahead. I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah, so I built this core. This was a pretty down and dirty quick build. This is not there's no custom blender work. I didn't custom clubhouse. I didn't do any. This is all pretty. I mean, I did put a custom flag and custom. I put our B2B tee boxes like we always do. Our
Yeah,
tee
yeah, yeah.
markers like I always do.
But you did
Um,
not like put a ton of like extra effort into this.
I didn't do a ton of extra like that stuff to elevate it. This is
Yeah,
what I would like if this is my version of like, a tech bud, basic level course. Somebody came in and paid the basic level. I
good.
built
Yeah,
this
good
for my
description.
buddy.
Yep.
Yeah, I built this for my buddy without him knowing as a surprise. It's his country club. I've played this course probably 20 times. He's one of my best friends and he and I have been playing golf together. And our girls, our daughters they went through a K through 8 school together. He's got two daughters and I have one daughter. And his youngest daughter and my daughter are the same age, or right around the same age. His older daughter is 2 years older. His older daughter and my daughter started playing golf together when my daughter was 9 years old. So my daughter was 9, his daughter was like almost 11 or 11, and they played PGA Junior League and they were the only two girls in the team. So they would pair the two girls together, and it was basically it was a scramble. They would both hit. Best ball. They both hit. They choose the best ball, and they started playing together. The two girls did when they were, like I said, 9. And he and I, the four of us, have been playing together. The two daughters and the two dads have been playing together since then, regularly.
Yeah.
And so, fast forward many years, my daughter is now a junior in high school and she's on the varsity girls golf team. His daughter is a freshman in college playing D3 college golf. And we all come together. And so I built this and I put a bunch of Easter eggs all around there. I put he and his daughter in several places, and they always walk and they always push carts or pull carts and stuff. So I tried to put representations of the two of them throughout the course, just kind of as a hey, it's your course, but it's going to be in GSPro for way to play. It's a fun little course, by the way.
Yeah. So if there's a little screenshot of like this is off hole number one where you see two
Yeah.
people walking down, and I had known the history, so when I saw this like father daughter walking, I was like, it made me because I'm on the tail end of that. My daughter's one's in college, one's
Yep.
going to college next year, so I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel of girls moving out of house, and
So
I'm getting a little verklempt right now thinking about it.
we ran a he and I ran a contest kind of in the vein of chasing scratch. We ran a contest to see which one of us could get the lower handicap by the end of our season.
Oh,
And
okay.
I won that, and the dinner was the winner was a dinner. So I chose where to go. So we went for dinner, and it was the day after his birthday. So I put the course on a thumb drive, and I wrapped it up in a jewelry box, and I packaged it all up, and I gave it to him as a birthday present at dinner. And he took it home and he put it. It wasn't published. He took it home and he put it in his computer and he loaded up GSPro, and he called me like an hour later and was like, or 2 hours later, was like, "Oh my God, is that like Natalie and me walking down?" Yeah, so it was great. He loved it.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I saw
Oh,
them at
but
several
to be
spots.
fair, and I agree with this, I don't review my own courses, right? So we collectively decided it is not an MPOW.
No,
It's a
it's
good
and
course, it's fun, but it's not
you
an
didn't say
MPOW.
anything to me. I saw
Nope.
actually it was released earlier today, and I said, "Oh, there's another course. You had another course. We could have something else to talk about." And you said,
Yep.
"Go take a look." And I
Yep.
said, "Okay." And I looked and I saw this. It made me sentimental. I'll admit. But then I came back to you and I said, "Dude, I honestly though,
The
I
course
just
is
don't know if
fine,
it's
but
an
it's not an
on-pow."
MPOW.
Yes.
Yep. And what was
And
my reaction?
you're like, "Yep." You're like, "I
Yep.
agree." So cool.
Cool.
So, what are the MPALs? Well,
MPOW.
let's get into the MPALs, right? First one is Flushing Meadows
Flushing
pitch and
Meadows pitch
putt.
and putt. Like,
So, yeah,
yeah, it's our first kind of non-18 hole MPOW, I think. No, top of the rock. The par three
yes,
course
but this is
was
really short. I mean, this is
right.
really a pitch and putt. I mean,
It is really a
you don't
pitch and
need
putt.
anything more than a sand wedge on here.
I mean, 83 yards is the longest hole.
Yeah, eight.
Yeah.
What is that? The first?
Number nine. Number
Number
nine,
nine.
83.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a sand wedge for me. You know.
It's one. You bring two clubs. You bring a putter and a sandwich. That's it. Or
Yep.
a putter and a 60-degree for me. Yep.
Yep. And this is interesting. This is in Flushing Meadows, New York, which is like the same park facility compound as the U.S. Open Stadium where they do the
Yep.
tennis U.S. Open. Not
The Arthur Ashe Stadium. Yep.
yes. And Jay Rockaway rocking it, right?
Yeah. It's
Which
great.
yes. So this is what we're talking about. Like him understanding. Like, first of all, these bushes are incredible. I don't know if he bought these or tweaked them. I've never seen hedges really look that good up this
I
close.
haven't either.
So I'm
Most
not
of the
sure what
time you don't.
he's doing here.
I know, and like most of the time, I mean, look at that hedge to the forward hedge to the right. That's in the corner of the screenshot.
Right here.
No, yeah, that one right there. Like you can see the leaves. I mean, so we've seen boxy hedges before, but it's a flat texture, maybe a little bit of depth on it. Like there
Yeah.
are leaves hanging off. I mean, they're really good.
Yeah. And there was
Now,
actually a
I
screenshot of,
have,
oh, look, if you go back here, this is hole number one here. That's a real
yep,
shot of hole number one up
yep,
here. And you can
yep.
see there it is.
And
I mean,
and listen, I have a hedge pack that I bought when I used it for Medalist, okay, around the clubhouse, and they're very, very, very good hedges. They don't look they're different than this,
yeah.
but they're very good. But these are really good. But I also love, and you can see it in that screenshot you showed. I love the hitting, the texture on the hitting mat, and I mean, there's just so much goodness in the detail he put in. But this is just the scratching the surface of it.
Yeah. And if you go through this course, like this is hole number two, there's so much stuff even like right here. For
Yeah.
instance, zooming down to this bench, yeah, someone put a sticker, the Brooklyn Golf and Social Club, along with some graffiti on it. Now, I recognize this graffiti. So there's actually a decal app, and I think he pulled it out of the decal. It doesn't matter. I'm a designer, so I know what this stuff looks like. But it's cool because he put some graffiti on the park bench. Then he's
Did the decal app have the dripping as
I
well?
think
Did he
so.
add that?
I
Okay,
think
got it.
it
Okay.
did. Yeah, I think he found that's all that is just you can take any JPEG and you can assign it as a decal anywhere on your course.
Yep, got it. Okay.
But the fact that he took the time to do that,
Yep,
is another thing. This is probably the Brooklyn Golf and Social Club. Maybe he found that someplace else. I don't know. That's just
yep.
another decal. Then he's got the hot dog stand.
That's
Okay.
so good.
More on that later. So this is hot dog
Yep,
stand on hole number two. And then if you look to the right, those are tarps that are protecting a tennis court like facility. But look,
yep.
and this is where he understands like that looks like a real freaking tarp.
It looks like a real tarp. The ripples and the fabric and the shading of the
Yeah.
ripples, it looks so really, really well. And
And then there's the
go
tennis
back,
courts on the other side of when you go up in the air, look down, there they are. Right.
but go back one real quick. Take away that tennis court because you're controlling the slides, but also the color of his trunks looks so natural, and the
Yeah.
color of the shading, like the shade are not too dark. You can see the grass through the shading. I mean, just everything looks really well done.
And he added a little bit of grass in the bottom of some of the trees, which I think
Yep,
is perfect.
yep, yep.
especially looking at some of the pictures of this course, it's not as pristine as it's a little beat up.
It's a little beat up. Yeah.
Yeah, and he does a good job kind of conveying that. So then I think this is hole number 2. It's great. So he put now this is not represented. We actually did a little research here. I believe that's supposed to be Arthur Ashe Stadium where they do the U.S. Open there.
Right.
Now that's
I
not
assume
real
yes.
representation of that. This is a little bit different looking, but it
Yeah.
gets the point across,
It
which is
gets the point
completely
across.
fine.
The Arthur Ashe Stadium is, I believe, like an octagon shape. Think about a tennis stadium; it's
Yeah,
an octagon shape, and it doesn't
yeah,
have the big spires. It has a bunch of, but to be fair, in the same vein, it has a bunch of like flag poles that are really tall going
yeah,
around it. So I could see this being a representation of that as because I went back and looked at the video that this course has posted, and I didn't see this particular item, but I think it gets the point across really well. I get what he's doing, and it makes sense.
yep. And then what's really funny is he has the electrical box,
Electrical
which
box.
probably is there in real life. I don't know. I didn't look at hole number 2, but
I didn't
you know,
test if there was a collider on it or not, but I did.
no. But it's got the graffiti on it like it is New York, right?
Yep.
Uh, this is another hole. I can't remember which one this is, and he also I'm seeing a lot of talent here. He's also I think what I need to do better as a golf designer is when I look from the golfer's perspective and you don't need to do too much. Now I jumped up in the air and just to kind of capture this, but he's got the signs from the freeway out there
Yeah.
that you can
Yeah.
just barely
Yeah.
see when you're golfing, but
Yeah.
I think people that know the course will
We'll
appreciate
see
that.
it. Yeah.
But he didn't need to go crazy with it either. Um, which is just put them out there enough that you can see them. There's not a lot of detail, right?
Yep.
But it's enough
Yep.
detail. Same thing with the
Yep.
flag. Same thing with this water body that's sitting out there. You never get close. Now, on
Yep.
this hole, also, I zoomed in and he had another hot dog stand. But there's two guys in this hot dog stand that are standing next, and not only that, but these guys are animated and they're arguing with each other. So they
Well,
get
one guy's he's got a Mets
yes,
sweatshirt on, right? So I couldn't see what if the Grays guy's got like a Yankees or something, but yeah, I mean,
yeah, the guy in the Mets chat is giving him hell, and the guy in the sweatshirt is kind of like saying like, "Dude, what do you want me to do?" It's almost
yeah,
like he offered him like $2 for a hot dog instead of 10, you know, and the guy took it as an insult. But it was
so
really
much
well
fun.
done. Yeah, so much fun. Well done. Now, which even ties into now City Field. Who plays it? Is it the Mets? Do the Mets play at City Field?
I should know that. I
I mean,
should know that.
but
I'm so bad.
yeah, I don't think we need like someone will tell us, but so a couple things here. One is you got City Field in the background, and I'm
The
pretty
Mets play there.
sure the Mets do play there,
The Mets play there.
which is
100%
great
the
because
Mets
he
play
has the guy with the Mets
with the
hat,
Mets logo. Yep.
which is just another level of detail that you don't typically get. I think this is a render doc, right? And so designers, you can like pull render doc for just about any structure almost
Yep.
anywhere with Google Earth. Um, and it works really well for things that are far away. In this case, it is far away, and
Yep.
I went up in the air so you guys could see this in its entirety. But it sticks up above the trees when you're playing at course level, and it just
Right.
again it adds to the authenticity. And he even put the and this is funny because he put the putt putt course in there. Now you can't play the putt putt course. I guess you could in practice mode. Um,
Well, sorry, finish your thought. I'm gonna
I
chime
was
in.
gonna say but he maybe if he teamed up with Jay Pruitt, who did the do the putt putt course
Oh,
this
I
week.
had the same thing. I was gonna say that these two guys should team up absolutely and make the putt putt version, make that putt putt course playable as another download because after playing the putt putt course, I want to play this putt putt course.
Right. Yeah. This one it was I mean the detail I can't believe I'm wondering if Jay Rockaway is going to publish that as a putt putt course because there's a lot
Maybe.
of detail in those that little I zoomed down in there and flew around.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty good
It's pretty
even
good.
though you can't play it. So um well
Maybe
done.
as a thing to come. I put this in. We were talking about the bridges. I just thought it was funny, but necessary. Like he planted it as you would expect, all the way out off the train out there. So it's the bridge to nowhere, right? Big bridge being built to nowhere. But that was what you needed to do because from the course, you wanted to be able to see to some degree the highway, but then those signs we talked about, and that's how he did it. I thought it's just great. I love the way he did it.
Yeah, I mean he really has a good eye for what's needed and what isn't, and these
I
freeway
also, by
signs.
the way,
Did
sorry,
you
yeah,
actually zoom in to those freeway signs? Now I'm looking at those. Looks like there's actually stuff written on
I
them.
did, and there's stuff written on them. And what I also want to know is, and I don't know if they're the actual things they're supposed to be, but
Yeah,
they may be. I mean, given his
probably are.
detail,
Yeah.
I want to know what asset he's using for the highway bridge too, because I haven't seen that before.
Oh, right. Good point.
I
Yeah.
was looking at that, and I've got a couple different ones that I've used in the past, and they're a real pain in the butt to use. I guess I could probably use Fence Builder and put the prefabs in and plant them that way, but
Yeah.
um, it looked really good. It was really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. This is one I'd love to load up with the guys. And
Yeah,
uh and then on 18, I just had to crack up with this drunk guy who's sitting at a picnic table with a couple of smash cans of Miller Lite, and he's like practically passing out. So nice. Good stuff. Thanks, Jay Rockaway. Love it. Um and then we're gonna go to Mulligans Island putt putt course, the cave course. Uh
yep,
Jay
yep.
Pruitt mixing it up. Now now I just realized this, and
Okay.
let me bring up our video because
Yep, yep,
this is
yep,
something we've talked about, and I just realized that we did not talk about this in pre-show. Is that
yeah,
what do we've never understand really the where course difficulty comes from?
yeah.
Did you see the course difficulty
I
here?
did. I was wondering if you were gonna pick up on that. I did see the course difficulty, and
I just
I
I don't know.
no, I don't know. It's a putt-putt course, but it's the hardest damn. I mean, it has to do with the green. I mean, because obviously he did a ton of work. You'll see he did a
I
ton of
don't.
work on these.
Yeah. Well, the
I
thing is
don't
that
know.
what John uses to measure is like distance and the distance of the holes. But yeah, I don't know. We'll just leave it at that.
I don't know. I'm confused. I'm very
This
confused.
is the hardest course on GSPro. I'm telling you right now.
I am I am very confused, but it was not quite hard. It was a lot of fun though.
Yeah. Now this is in Garden City Beach, South Carolina, and I just noticed that. So I wonder if Jay Pruitt, if he actually took inspiration from a putt putt course down there or
Oh,
something.
we didn't look. That's a good point. The other thing too is Jay Pruitt. I'm really disappointed he didn't put the slope and rating in. Like it's not up the top there. Someday we're going to use that. You're going to have slope and rating in there. So I just can't believe
It's
that
going
you
to
would
show
leave
up in
that out.
SGT, and no one's going to be able to play because there's no slope
An
rating.
experienced designer like you didn't put slope and rating
Yeah.
in the course.
But everybody does have to play from the tips, though.
So are these like seven? Are they actually yardages? 7 yards, 17 yards,
Yeah, we
six,
think that's
seven.
from
I
where the
guess yeah.
ball is at to where the pin
To
is
the
at.
hole. Yeah,
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 so
yeah,
27
yeah.
feet, 27 feet. Yeah. So the longest on this one is 22 on hole 16. Right.
Hey, I want to make one comment real quick on the pitch and putt course before we go
Hmm.
too far on. By the way, it is probably I think, and I've played it twice now. I think it is it's a much needed course, by the way, for GS Pro because I think it's one of the only 80-yard short game courses that you can literally just sit there and practice that 80-yard short game coming in. It is so important. It's the most important part of the game next to putting is that short stuff. And you don't have to go to a practice mode and drop a ball and have the same shot 17 times. You could literally play,
Right.
and it's. I think it's one of the best courses to play for working on your short game. I'm just gonna pause there.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's also pretty flat too, so you don't have to deal with like you get the real
Yep.
deal.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. Love it.
So
So anyway, sorry.
pitch and
Back to
putt.
the putt course.
It just, oh yeah, the putt putt. So this is yeah. Do you have a VR headset?
I do like an Oculus. I do
Yeah,
not.
you do not. Okay. I have an
I do not.
Oculus,
Why?
and
Okay.
there's actually some really good like putt putt courses you can play on
Oh.
Oculus.
Okay.
And
Okay.
this like view from up here reminds you. So if anyone has an Oculus, you're gonna know what, and you play, I forget what the name of it, it's Golf VR or something like it. But they have
Okay.
putt putt courses, and you can like walk around in it, and it is
Oh, that's cool.
extremely
Is it pretty
real.
cool?
It is very cool.
I may
Yes.
have to pick one up. Yeah, I may have to
Yeah.
pick up an Oculus for that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you do in Oculus besides golf, but the putt putt on Oculus is really fun. But I there's a lot of stuff in here packed in really tight, and I was really impressed. And at first, I'll be honest. The only drawback to this course is honestly like that GSPro is just not optimized for putt, right?
Let me ask you, we were talking about this in pre-show, and I'm just curious. We didn't elaborate between ourselves. What do you think is missing in the optimization that would make it? You mean just not
Well,
having to hit, or what do you think is the?
yeah, I think there should definitely be some type of like either mode where, well, first off, the 2 foot gimme. There's no gimmies in putt.
I agree. But that is that. Can
The
you do no gimme? You can do no
No,
gimmies though.
mm-mm.
No,
The
2 foot's
front
the minimum. You
two
have to do
foot's a
2 foot.
minimum. Yeah, so that's why on the tips on the screen I have right now, he says, set your gimme to 2 feet. That's the lowest you can set it in GS Pro.
I don't even think I don't even think I realized there's no putt out in GSPro. There is only
There's
a 2
not.
foot maybe out
I
now.
think,
Oh,
and the reason I understand they do that is because launch monitors, like anything under 2 feet, I think they have a really hard time. Even I think Unicore has a hard time picking things up.
huh. Interesting.
Yeah. Um, B removes objects from view. So this goes back to the whole camera thing, right? Which is
Yep.
things are so tight in here, and if that camera is behind you and it's in a tree, vice versa, things get really tight.
Yeah. I had
Um,
that a couple of times where the ball was up against and the rocks were blocking it. So I had to B to remove the rocks and stuff.
yeah.
I think yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I was gonna
Did
add one
it?
more
Did
thing on
yours
that.
switch away from putter at all?
That was the two things that I found frustrating for me was I the putting, I had to change it to putter every time.
Yeah.
And I wanted to default to putting. So I forgot several times. I had mulligans on because I forgot so many times I was chipping it halfway across the
Yeah. Yeah.
and I felt like to make it more realistic, I feel like we need like a Stimp 19 concrete, or maybe you make the meshes concrete or something,
Yeah.
because our putt putts are not grass; they're concrete with that grass turf on top of it. And I felt like as much as I actually I love this course. I think it's really well done. And I have another comment in a few minutes on this. I felt like it was almost too much like putting on real grass for a putt putt course.
It was really slow. You wanted, I wanted
Yeah,
to like whack it and have it ricochet off the brick
off
wall
the
and come,
things and bounce
and it
around.
almost couldn't hit it hard enough. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I kind of almost maybe you make the meshes concrete, and so it's going to roll around a lot, but then maybe it'll never come to a stop. I don't know. So,
Right. Right. True.
or you have to maybe you've got to spline out a 2 foot section around the hole, then you turn that into grass, but then you put the rest of it concrete so that it does.
Mm,
So otherwise, I don't think it'll ever. I don't
yeah.
know. So, but
The bottom line
I'm
is, if
sure.
I think if GS Pro really wants to make these more popular, just a couple
Yeah.
things just need to be tweaked. Right.
Now I will say I do think that given how good this and the pitch and putt course are, they are in a category of their own. It's not a par three course, and I do think we're getting to the point, and I'm going to save something for our feature request in a minute. So I'm going to pause that, and we'll save it for our feature
Yeah.
request when we get there. Yep,
Yeah. Um, yeah. So let's go through a couple of these holes, which look really cool.
really
Uh,
cool.
and so you can see you do get like the crazy greens here. So
Yep,
here's another hole where it's really short, but you just kind of figure out how to putt through this and get to the other side. This is
yep,
going to be a lot of fun for kids. Treasure Island here, if you want to call it that, with the chest on there. This fire in the background is smoking.
smoking
There's
and stuff. Yep,
smoke billowing up from it. Really cool. This was like unique and creative. So you can either, the risk reward thing, right? So up the ramp, down the other side, or take the long way.
yep, yep.
And this one is, so sometimes you must take a leap of faith. You have to actually hit down like a little waterfall that's over here too. So pretty
Yeah, a
cool.
little ramp over the water onto the second part. It
Yeah.
was great. Yep.
And then,
Again, so real quick, I thought that go back. The course was so good. There are a couple of things I would love if you do ever decide to do an update. Jay Pruitt is I don't. If this is there, then I apologize. I don't remember. I would love to hear more ocean wave sound since you're right next to the ocean there. I don't remember hearing that when I was playing it. It could have been me, like seagulls and ocean waves, things like that. And I'd love some music. Like this is a great course to have a little bit of like pirate music going. I mean, it's a putt-putt course. You know what I mean? Like I'd love to hear a little bit of like I don't know on a whole pirate music,
yeah.
things like that. But other than that,
And Jay Pruitt, if you're interested in adding music, reach out to me. I actually have a subscription to a huge music library thing for this show.
Great. Yep.
And I could
Yep.
give you my login, and you could browse around and see if you can find something.
Yep. Yep. Good point. Good point. So great courses.
Yes.
Yep.
Thanks for mixing it up, Jay Pruitt. This makes life interesting. Spice of life.
And I do think you guys should team up and make that par 3, make that putt on the pitch and putt come out as well. If you're not already planning to do it, J Rockaway, it'd be great.
Yeah. So feature requests. Now, so as we were talking there, I immediately had. We were talking pre-show. We're like, oh my god, I don't have a feature request. You didn't have one. Like, we'll come up with one. Well, my first one, I guess, is feature request would be higher stimps for courses like that.
Yeah. I had that one as well. I had higher stimps for courses like that. We're gonna have to put more flexibility into for designers to do that, right? My feature request that I was gonna add too is it's time for us to come up with a better category of course management. We need a putt section or a pitch and putt / putt section. We need a par 3 section. We need something other than what we have today in GSPro, which is a long running list of courses.
Yeah, but here's the thing is, and this, I guess now a little bit of my frustration is coming out. So Greenskeeper 2 came out, and you saw in Greenskeeper 2
all of the Yep.
Now, I'm sure John can easily add native par 3, putt. We're not leveraging those though in the game, right?
Agreed. I'm not saying the capability is not there or the capability from the design. I mean, I also think designers would go back. I mean, it depends because it requires. I mean, I don't think TechBugs can go back and re-update 300 courses, But all I know is from a user perspective, I think it's time, maybe overdue. Maybe this is coming in the fall. I don't know. I know there's some big fall. Soupy had mentioned there's a big fall release in Discord coming. I don't know what's listed in it, but I think it's time for the entire course library in GSPro to be completely redone and have it in different categories and different things so that I could easily go look at ranges. I can look at putt courses. I can look at par 3 courses. I can look at mountain courses. I can look, of course, without just searching, and only a handful of courses have used checkboxes that aren't really being used that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And unfortunately, I might get. I know that if I was designing, if I'd be like somebody like TechBud who's cranking these out, I'm not sure if I'm going to spend the time to go through and check any of those boxes now if they're not being used.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think, to be fair, if I were tech, I would. Sorry, I'm going to break into jail here. It's my favorite saying. I always warn people not to break into jail, but I'm going to break into jail here. If I were tech, I would want my own section on there. I would want the TechBud section with all of my courses are there.
Yeah, but he can do that easily. You can do a search today and just find TechBud courses.
Agreed, but you're still initially presented with just a list. Just a giant list of courses, and as GSPro grows and as more people come in, that needs to be a much more intuitive and people don't even use search in Facebook. Yeah.
Well, yes, and I think that kind of leads to our next section here, which is the post of the week, and the first. And I think one of the reasons that this comes up so often is one of the most common posts always is, what are your favorite courses, right?
Yep.
And probably one of the reasons for that is people can't eliminate, they can't search by Parkland, they can't search by par 3s, they can't. So we get a lot of those questions. But I'm hoping after this week, we can at least start to retire this question.
This one. Yeah. Yeah. Can we just already agree that the Ryder Cup course is not in GSPro? Can we all agree?
And here's what's funny about this is I think to get all these clips, I just went and did a Facebook search.
you searched for Ryder Cup. The worst part is they're probably January 10th. Some are
actually, I'm pretty sure I searched for just Marco, and all these came up. Yeah. And so, if anyone even commented Marco, I put these all came up. So,
here's the other.
This doesn't include Facebook or Discord. How many times people ask in Discord?
But if you would just, but also, I bet there's twice as many of these that don't even know that the name of the course, and they just put the Ryder Cup course. So if you
Yes.
also search for just Ryder Cup, you'd get a whole plethora of other ones because
Yes.
they don't even know the name of the course.
The funny
Correct.
thing is, you
Yes.
look at some of these dates. There's this one. This one was back in January.
January asking for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's been a ton in the last few weeks. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. It's ramped
yeah.
up. I think
Yep.
it's ramped
Yep.
up. And
Well, after this weekend, we won't see it hopefully anymore, but
I guess we'll see how many you see this weekend.
we'll see. We'll see. There's going to be a bunch on Saturday. Oh, I was watching the Ryder Cup. Why isn't it on GSPro?
Yeah. Right. Right. Which goes to next post, which is
Yeah.
so this guy, and I actually don't have anything wrong with this question because
No, I think it's a great question.
which is, does the GS Pro company, and that phrase right now leads me to what's happening. I think is we're getting, and kind of alluded to this earlier. It's you're getting so many more people GS Pro that they have like this exponential growth, and people like, I'm paying $250 a year. What's this company that I'm dealing with now?
Yep.
And yes, it is at a company, but they don't understand it is a very small business,
Very small
small
company.
company that has a grassroots,
Yep.
growth behind it,
Yep.
and the history behind that. And it was really surprising as I responded to this guy's post, and I put our the More You Know show where we talked about kind of
Yep.
like a little bit of the history and relationship of GS Pro SGT, and I put in there, and this guy went out and looked and said, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea GS Pro was only two guys."
Yeah.
So my ask of the designer community that's potentially watching this show is be aware of this, that new people, they forked over their $250 and they're looking for help and support, and they don't understand really the background and history of GS Pro. And I would say to all of you, just have a little bit of patience, and maybe you can either send them to that portion of the show that we did,
Yep.
or just say, hey, GS Pro's two guys.
Yep.
It's community driven, it's grassroots. Um, it is what it is. And a lot of us are like, if you don't like that, then maybe this isn't the platform for you.
I do like the posts that start with, "Hey, I tried searching but was unable to find the answer." Like, I like that. Shows a little initiative on that. I think this is super important. I think as sim golf continues to grow, as GS Pro usage grows, especially now we're going into the winter, right? Everything is going to start getting busier and busier as we
Oh,
go into the winter
this
time.
winter's going to be
And
crazy.
there's going to be a whole lot of new users, and they think they're working with an E6 company or a Foresight company, and
What's the
they're
phone
not.
number I need to call to get this fixed?
Yeah, yeah. Now, to be also fair, okay, and I know I'm not knocking the GS Pro guys at all, but with growth comes growth. As they continue to grow in the user base, they do need to continue to grow both in their developer side and their support side. So
Yeah.
if they don't have enough people to handle support questions, then they need to make sure they're gearing up for that, which I trust they're doing the right things.
Yes.
Yep.
But I think, and I think you and we and most of us that were a part of like kind of this GS Pro and watch this thing kind of grow,
Yep.
realize that the price is going to go up if they have to do that. It's going to go from
Oh, for
250.
sure, for sure. If they're gonna have
Right.
to go from they're gonna have to. I mean, I don't. I hope they never get to an E6 kind of subscription where you pay just a ton of money for
Ugh.
a one, kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, that's a can of worms that I don't have enough bourbon in me to go down with
Yeah.
because then you take community made courses for free and drop them in there, but then anyway. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Yep.
So this was another guy who was on Facebook for 5 days and
Yep.
decided to post this. Now,
Yep.
I'm not necessarily disagreeing with, well, let me read what he said. So this page, as well as golf in general, should be a good community that's helpful and welcoming, but the amount of stupidity I see from smartass members is insane. If someone asks a question that's been asked 100 times, well, who freaking cares? Answer it again. Or don't. No one's forcing you to interact. There's so many instances of people being straight up douchebags. Just because someone asks something you don't like or that's been asked before, be helpful or just don't answer. That's what this group is for. See the comments for those toxic guys. Now,
Yeah, you go first because
I'm just going to say, if you post, this is the internet in general. It's nothing wrong with the GSPro group. It's nothing. It's Reddit. It's the internet. It's what happens when people aren't connected on a personal level. And I would say this guy, look, I kind of agree with what you're saying here, but your mistake is thinking that you can fix the fucking world. Okay?
well, but it's more than that, okay? Because he is telling people to be nice and answer their questions
It's the
by
internet.
being a dick.
Yes.
He is I am going to be an absolute dick to tell you to be nice. So like instead of saying douchebags and blah 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 and toxic comments and I've been on Facebook this group for a hot minute and I'm going to school you all, it could have been, hey guys, new here, love all the help of community, let's keep it going. Like he literally is, I'm going to be an asshole to tell you to not be an asshole.
Yeah.
So he's either trolling, which is not actually a really good troll because it's not really working anybody up because everybody kind of roll their eyes at it, or he really is like doesn't understand how to get things done.
Now this thing completely blew up, of course. So there was tons of Facebook fighting
Yeah.
on here, which is, you know, I'm not even going to post half the stuff that came in here. But the bottom line is, I saw a meme the other day, which was, I had an argument with someone on a Facebook, and they admitted they were wrong, and I was right. Said no one ever.
You can replace Facebook with the internet.
Yes.
Had an argument with someone on the internet, no matter
God,
what
I mean,
method it is, and they agreed. Oh, you know what? You're right.
this is the age-old thing. Like, you posted the same thing a million times. If you don't like it, move
Listen,
on. But it's, I don't know.
there are some really, really good posts. Help me decide what projector to make. Here's my sim setup. I'm having blah 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 issues. I get frustrated with the same, like especially when they're right on top of each other. Is Target Golf golf? And that's right above is Target Golf gone. And that's right above is Target Golf gone, which is right above is there a rider course? Like my frustration comes, and it's not really frustration. I don't care. I'm not on Facebook that much. I'm on it enough to get clips like this to put into our show, and to post new screenshots of courses I release, and that's it. But yeah, I feel like people take this way too seriously. Yeah, I've already poured 3 times, buddy. It's gonna be an early one tonight. It's actually really damn good.
It is really good.
And but I think like I think just scrolling down, if you don't want to use the search button, it's cool. I get it. It's hard. The internet's hard. But there's a little wheel, like right here on your mouse, there's a little wheel. Okay. The wheel will let you scroll down. If you just wheel down a little bit, you might find someone asking the same question as you.
And I'll say, okay, search whatever. I would say the next thing is don't try to fix the internet.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Well,
doesn't need to be fixed. It's perfect the way.
Yeah.
I can't say that with a straight face. Sorry.
You are not going to win. Do not take on the internet and try to find anything that's wrong with it.
It's the modern version of the old one, which is like don't fight battles with people by ink by the barrel.
Okay. Now this one I just thought it was cute and giggly, which was so this guy posted, how, if I can I remove the yardage tag? Which I get. That's a good question, actually. You know, there's shortcuts to do that, but just like, where's this guy's projector? I mean, is it sitting on a chair behind him? Because he stood in front, took a picture, and he is like blowing his shadow up here. I almost responded. I said, yeah, I almost responded here. If you want to get rid of the yardage tag, just stand up and move a little bit to the right, and it's gone. You won't see it. It's like when he.
I love this because you and I have different reactions to these same threads. When I saw this thread, my first reaction was, you're 581 yards away. Why do you need to remove the yardage tag? It's not blocking anything of your shot.
Well, and then also I think someone had commented like, why do you want to remove it? And he goes, I just want to free up more real estate on my screen. I was like, well, just get out of the way.
The ST in projector stands for short throw. Just making sure you know that out there.
I'm wondering if he has a long throw and it's like sitting back in the other room.
Oh, I agree. I think he needs a short throw. Like
Okay.
he bought the wrong one. He missed. He saw ST and thought, "Oh, I don't want that one. I want to get the one that's."
It's fantastic. I can see he's got a baseball cap on.
He's got. And I like. What's he got in his hand? Is it a sextant? Is he like
No, I
doing?
think that's his camera that he's taking the picture with, right? Or I don't.
Oh, I don't.
Well, I
It
don't know what
looks
the
like
thing
he's
is
got
sticking out from his
sticking out
camera.
this way. Is he?
Yeah.
I don't. I don't know. I don't know. Again, don't fix the internet. It's not broken. It's perfect the way that we wouldn't get shots like this if people tried to fix it. So much fun. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Hey,
All right. That is the end. We have
that's
nothing
the end.
else.
That's all we got. That's
Yeah.
all we got. All right. Golf this week for me. Golf this week for you. We'll go play new courses they release, and I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the bourbon,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Appreciate it. Keep
Thanks for
watching.
the bourbon.
All right. Cheers. Good night.
Cheers.